Let's make homemade gnocchi alla pesto. Gnocchi is a real Italian classic, and it's surprisingly easy to make at home. In fact, I'd even say that it's quicker to make than fresh pasta. It all starts with our potato. There's a lot of different kinds of potatoes out there, but we're using good old-fashioned russet potatoes. It's just a good, simple potato. They're cheap, they're versatile, they have a high starch content, so they'll break down and become nice and fluffy. As far as cooking the potatoes go, there's a couple things you could do. You could bake them, but it's gonna take about 90 minutes, and who's got time for that? You could certainly boil them, that's fast. Problem is, some of the water would get into the potatoes, and that extra water would mean you have to overcompensate by adding more flour, which could lead for a tougher potato. But my option is the good old air fryer. All I need to do is just prick the potato all over with a fork, give it some oil, load that into the air fryer basket. I'll let that go for about 20 to 30 minutes on 375, or until the potato is nice and fluffy in the middle. There's about a million ways you can serve gnocchi, but I'm gonna do a classic pesto sauce. Start with a little bit of garlic, then just kind of break down the garlic. You can certainly use a food processor, that's fine. I just like the mortar and pestle. Next up, I'll add a small handful of pine nuts. Again, just bash it up, break it down. Then it's basil time. Now, the mortar and pestle doesn't really chop the basil so much as it just bashes it, so I'm just gonna roughly chop it. Basil goes in, just break that down. Got this cute olive oil bottle. Okay, time for the extra virgin olive oil. You don't need to use an expensive oil, just use one that tastes nice. You know there's enough oil when it looks smooth like this. Now for the Parmigiano. You do want to be generous. To finish, I'll add a touch of lemon juice, a bit of salt and pepper. Always taste what you cook. Perfect. So the potato's cooked when you can stick a fork in and it goes in easily. Right now I want to cut the potato in half, scoop out the flesh with a spoon. And I won't throw away these skins. I'm going to continue to air fry them to get them nice and crispy. As far as mashing the potatoes go, you could use a masher, you could use a fork, but I love using the ricer. The perfect gadget for mashing potatoes. Just squeeze that wonderful potato right through. Make a little well in the center. Now in that well, I'll add my egg. I usually go 1 egg per potato. Generous on the salt and pepper. After all, it is potatoes. Just kind of whisk up that egg. Get the potatoes mixed in, ready for the flour. I'm not gonna tell you how much flour you need because I don't know how much flour your potatoes need. It depends on a lot of things. The moisture content of the potatoes, how large they are. What I do know is I want enough flour to bring this mound of potato into a smooth, workable dough. You can always add more flour if you want, but remember, you can't take it away. My advice is just add some flour a little bit at a time until you get a nice, happy dough. Okay, now that's coming together. What I'm looking for is a dough that's smooth and doesn't stick to me as easily. So now's the point where I can start kneading the dough a little bit. With gnocchi, the softer the better. And the more you knead it and work it, the more you develop the gluten, which can lead to a bit of a tougher, chewier gnocchi. Doesn't really stick to me as easily, that's perfect. As far as rolling out and cutting your gnocchi, there's no real wrong answer here, but here's what I like to do. Just roll it out like so with your hands, aiming for about a 1/2 inch thickness. I'll lightly dust my bench scraper, cut it into bite-sized pieces. And once cut, I'm gonna dust them all with a bit more flour. There it is, your beautiful homemade gnocchi. As far as cooking the gnocchi goes, I've got a pot of water that I just brought up to a simmer. So I'm ready to slide those little guys in. If it boils too rapidly, it could cause the gnocchi to fall apart. It's happening. You could eat the gnocchi as soon as it's done, but I like taking it out and putting it in a frying pan. I'm basically just sauteing it for a few minutes, give it a nice crisp edge. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Some of the pasta water, I'll put in my pesto. There's no garnish needed. A bit of cheese on top won't hurt. How pretty is that? Soft, tender, a little bit crisp on the outside. Wonderful pesto to bathe it in. I honestly do not need anything else.